What's up, everyone? Welcome to another show of Keeping It Real. It's your boy Kevin.
Yeah, it's your boy John.
John, my guy, what's up, man? How you living?
Living well, man. Just sitting in this weird Detroit, Michigan rain. It's weird weather, man. Just trying to tough it out.
Man, I feel it, man. I don't know what's been happening. No, it's crazy. Like these past few weeks, man, we just be getting dumped with rain, man, messing up my vibe and everything. But hey, I say every day I'm blessed and highly favored, so it's good. I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah, it's definitely rough, man. This poor infrastructure, a lot of other stuff going on with the city. I really feel for people who are struggling with this, but yeah.
Yeah, man, we got a really great topic. This episode, one of my favorite sports, talking about baseball, specifically baseball in the Black communities. Growing up, I was a big baseball player myself. I had the opportunity to play in college a little bit. So baseball has definitely had a positive impact on my life, and it still does to this day. So I'm just excited to have this conversation, and we got a really special guest, somebody I know personally. He's well known throughout the state, throughout the region. Matter of fact, in the game of baseball, you say this guy's name, everybody know this man. So he's definitely been around. So without further ado, we like to welcome my guy Aaron Wilson to the show.
How you guys doing?
Good, good. How you living over there?
I'm well. Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no doubt, absolutely. Yeah, so just to go over a little credentials for Mr. Aaron, just a Trojan alum, Henry Ford High School graduate, was an All-American in high school, went on to take his talents to Coppin State, HBCU, played there, and now he's, like I said, he's still involved in the game. He's the director of scouting in Michigan for Prep Baseball Report, so he's doing that. So Aaron, yeah. So can you just talk a little bit about, how you got into the game? What was it that drew you into the game? And how has it made an impact on your life?
Are we talking from the beginning, or are we talking
Oh yeah, from the beginning up until this point right now.
So from the beginning, it's like most baseball, honestly, is a family sport. So you're brought in by an uncle, a brother, a father, something like that. So my dad was coaching my brother's team. He's 4 years older. So having to go to the field every day just because that's what you did, you know, learned the game, picked up. So I started playing coach pitch when I was about 6, started playing baseball when I was 7. My favorite sport back then and still is to this day is basketball, but I'm not 6'5". So at the age of 13, I had to make the decision, was I going to pursue the route of trying to play basketball at the next level, or take the route where a person my size could be a factor. So I chose baseball. Baseball back then, although I'm not that old, but baseball back then was a lot different than it is now. Exposure videos just weren't the same. So I honestly went the I guess you could say the more modern route now, and I pursued my own scholarship. I had the stats. I started recording my own videos when I was in high school, and I literally had to beg my dad to get internet in the house. Got internet, created a Yahoo, and literally went on the internet, found every college coach in the country, and emailed video of myself, documentation on myself. And that's how I got my college scholarships, because it wasn't, you can just log on to Twitter or Facebook or anything back then. It was literally, you had to get a handheld camera, take it to a game, and then, just copy up video and send it out. So that's how I got my start. And then if we're talking professionally, I had zero interest in ever doing baseball. So if you'd have asked me the same question 10 years ago, no way I'd tell you right now I'd be doing baseball. I was actually forced to start coaching by my dad, because he said, hey, you're a guy who went to college. Nobody around here went to college, honestly, from Detroit. You got to give back, make sure you're helping out the kids in the community. So I started giving back, started coaching, went over to Henry Ford Community College. Then I jumped into the summer ball route. College coaching is a whole nother topic. It's very difficult to take that route and be able to live. So went into the summer ball route. My mentor was Roger Coriel, who was the head coach over at Eastern Michigan for 20 plus years, Hall of Fame coach, became a Ranger scout, passed a few years back, but he was the guy who got me into the scouting aspect of things, and started a travel program, started doing a little scouting, and here we are.
Okay. Now, can you touch a little bit on, so are you still involved as far as scouting with the Rangers organization?
Yep, I still work closely with Chris Coleus, who's the regional scout for Texas Rangers. So he covers Michigan, Ohio. So I work closely with Chris. So I'm still involved on that side of things.
Okay. And then, so you were also the director for the Detroit Arsenal RBI program.
Correct.
And that was how long did you do that? Like three years?
So I started that in 2013. We did that until 2015, and then we just branched off.
Okay. Now, I want you to talk about your experience with, the RBI program, the reviving baseball in inner cities now. I was a part of the RBI program and you were a part of it. So, just talk about your experience, how it's trying to, get that exposure in these Black communities and other communities where baseball isn't a popular sport.
So RBI was introduced to me when I was 16 years old. Actually, no, take it back. RBI was actually introduced to me when I was 14 years old, but none of us had a clue what RBI was at the time. So we all passed on playing in the regional, and it was actually the World Series was held here in Detroit over at Jane Field. Not Jane Field. Yeah, Jane Field. It was held at Jane Field. They renovated the parks, everything, but none of us knew what RBI was. And at that time, if the World Series was held in your home city, you had an automatic bid. So
right.
What was crazy was myself and about 4 other of the top players in Detroit, we all were just there watching because we had no interest in playing. So we're watching the World Series like, oh, this is kind of cool. Then I actually played RBI for the first time when I was 17 years old. Good experience. You had opportunity to play inside professional stadiums. It was all expense paid, nice vacation. And if you won your regional, you got to go to the World Series, which was also expense paid trip. So you were able to meet major league ball players, able to meet MLB front office personnel, things that we took for granted back then that I think more about now. You were making relationships as opposed to the baseball side of things. You were meeting people who you could potentially get jobs from later. Obviously, we didn't think like that as 17, 16, 18-year-olds, but that's more so what the experience was. So when I came back, started coaching, I always looked at what was it about baseball that I didn't enjoy, or what did I think we were lacking in the city? And I started my own RBI program in the city because I felt baseball was lacking certain things. And sometimes as the young guy, you're not really listened to. So you can express those thoughts to the guys who are in charge, but you have to wait your turn. So I didn't want to exactly wait my turn because who knows how long that turn was going to take. So I started my own program through the Detroit Arsenal base out in Warren. So we were funded through Selfridge. A lady by the name of Tanya Blatz helped fund our program, gave us opportunity, trusted us with the program, and we went on to go out of the 3 years I did RBI, we went to the World Series 2 out of 3 years. So we're pretty successful.
Okay.
But the program itself, solid program, good opportunity for players who come from different backgrounds or who can't afford to play travel baseball. It gives them an opportunity to compete in tournaments, play on a bigger stage. So it's just a good experience for me overall.
Okay, nice. So you were an All-American when you played. How is the level of competition in Detroit back then compared to now?
So I don't like to answer those type of questions because I hate to be that guy who goes, back in my day it was great. So the competition honestly was different. I mean, but it all plays into what's going on now. Back when I was playing, when I was 10, 12 years old, you had the Renaissance League, you had the Barney McCloskey League, you had the PAL, you had Think Detroit, and you had Orchards. They hadn't combined at this time. So what it's called now is Think Detroit. PAL was all different leagues. And then you also had your little leagues. So you had like Rosedale, Southwest Detroit, Northwest Detroit. So back then, essentially what I'm saying is there was a ton of baseball being played. You had a field. If you drove down the street in Detroit in the summer, baseball was being played. Nowadays, that's not the case. Everyone's running out. They're trying to play travel ball. You had to graduate to travel ball back then. So baseball now it's in a slump in the city, but it's not dead, but it's definitely in a slump. The biggest thing missing now, as opposed to back then, is you have no coaches. The people who are my age, the people who are you guys' age, they're not coaching. They're playing softball, or they're working at the plant, or they're doing whatever they would choose to do. Whereas back then, you always had a ton of coaches. Even if you look in the PSL right now, which is where we all play, in the PSL, Norm Taylor was coaching when I was 10. He's still coaching. Mm-hmm. Leon McKissick was coaching when I was 10. He's still coaching. You're not getting that influx of new blood. So now that you aren't getting the new coaches, that's why your talent's suffering. Because you're not getting, hey, Kevin went to play baseball in college, bring back that college knowledge. Aaron played baseball in college, bring back that college knowledge. They're still teaching what they were teaching when I was 10 years old. And that's no offense to those guys, because I tip my hat to those guys. But it's up to guys our age to actually step up, and that's where the void is.
One of our fellow interns had a chance to interview his friend about blacks in baseball. Without further ado, take it away, Lamont.
Hey everyone, I'm Lamont. I'm the associate producer of Keeping It Real, and I'm here with my friend from Detroit. And the question of the day is, why do you think the interest of baseball in young black communities have declined over the years?
Me personally, I just feel like baseball is kind of portrayed as a more boring sport, and social media takes a big part in that. I'm on social media a lot, and I see a lot of exciting football and basketball posts, and I don't see a lot of exciting Major League Baseball posts, especially not by African American players. They make the young African American youth lean more towards football and basketball.
So since you bring up social media, do you think it's very important? Like, does it play a very important part?
Yes, most definitely. I feel like, like commercials, ads, a lot of stuff, like if it catches somebody's eye, that wants to play sports past high school, I feel like that does play a major part, and it persuades them to play, either baseball, football, or basketball in the future.
Okay. So what do you think what would make baseball more attractive to young black people?
I feel, first off, I watch baseball here and then. I don't see a lot of, the percentage of African American men that play baseball isn't, as what it used to be. And I feel like really just them, and recruiting, it starts in high school, really, to be honest with you. A lot of college recruits, they don't recruit a lot of young black athletes. I feel like football and basketball recruits, it's really harder to get recruited for baseball than it is football and basketball in high school. So, yeah.
All right, I appreciate you, Damon. Back to Jonathan and Kevin.
Yep, no problem.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I'm definitely glad that you were somebody that I connected with through the game of baseball, because I know we had these conversations all the time. And so I know, through our conversations, you talked about, doing things in the city to help like that exposure, bring that exposure back to the game. So what do you think there's like a misconception, for the game of baseball in general and in like urban or, inner city communities?
I wouldn't call it a misconception. I would say that there's a lack of education, but that also goes back to who's coming back and teaching it.
Right.
So if you're just unfamiliar with something, you go to what's familiar, what's comfortable. Basketball court is comfortable. We all play basketball. You don't need anyone with you to go play basketball either. You can just grab a ball, go to the court, get your shots up, or go dribble or whatever. Football, you can always find somebody, open field, let's go play, pick them up, mess them up, or let's go play a game. Baseball, you can't just show up at a field and say, I'm getting my work in by myself. You need a second person.
Mm-hmm.
So in the way baseball works, you kind of need a somewhat decent field if you're going to try to get a ground ball. And then let's factor in this thing called money. If I want to play basketball, I can go up to Walmart, wherever, $10, $20. I got a ball. We're playing all year. Football, same thing. We're playing all year. Baseball, not that simple. You need a glove. You don't have to have cleats. They would help. But you need a glove, you need a bat, and you need a ball. You're in the hundreds right there. So if you don't have anyone right there with you, it becomes economic. And that's another part of the game where it becomes economic. But we can touch on that later. Those are things right there where I don't think it's a misconception. I just think that the game is not being taught, whereas the game was always taught. It's no longer being taught.
Okay, Aaron, you're currently the scouting director for the Prep Baseball Report in Michigan. Can you talk a little bit about what that is and what your role is in that?
So essentially what Prep Baseball Report is a third party it's basically a liaison between the college and the high school prospect. So players come to showcases, playing tournaments, camps. We also cover high school games, meaning go out to scout the high school games. And our job is to get that coverage, that film, those write-ups to those college coaches, where we have over 900 plus colleges subscribing to the website, and help guys get to college. Essentially, that's what it boils down to. So the job is help kids get to college. So I'm responsible for the entire state, meaning every kid who picks up a ball in Michigan. My job is to help those kids get to college, which fell right in line with what my mission in life was, because I just wanted to help other people out, because I didn't have the help. I didn't want a kid to have to go figure out how to work Yahoo and send a million tapes and things like that. So pretty much nowadays it becomes a lot easier. You just come to an event, you get your videos, and then it's out to every coaching within a day. So that's pretty much what Prep Baseball Report is.
Now, if you have something like PBR back when you were playing, would you think that you would have gone to a bigger school? Because I know you mentioned you had the stats, you had the talent, obviously, but you were pretty much saying you did it all by yourself. So if something like PBR was available, for you back in the day, do you think that would have changed the route you took as far as college?
For me, no. Personally, no. Would it have gave me more exposure? Absolutely. But my college decision wasn't based upon anything but financial. So it was based on who's going to give me the money where I can afford to go. So, I mean, you could say possibly. I don't have any gripes about where I decided to go. I mean, if you do hindsight 2020, I know a lot of people say the bigger school, but if I could go back, I wouldn't even went to a Division I school. I would have went to a Division II school in South Carolina, because about 5 or 6 of my teammates went there, and I just would have went to school with those guys and played with guys I was familiar with and guys I knew. So I think a little bit different than most people, where they go, well, yeah, I probably could have got a Michigan offer, a Michigan State offer, or whatever, but I would have rather dropped down, play D2, and just play with my boys.
Okay. Now, can you talk about? I want to take it back a little bit, going back to the Henry Ford days. So, can you talk about like your fondest memories of just playing in the PSL during those times? Like, what's a memory that always stands out to you from those days?
So when I first got in the it was way different. So I don't know if that was based on I was a freshman or I was young, but I always remember back to those freshman year days where the bat was just heavy. Seemed like we were facing 85 and up every game. but I played with a guy named Jimmy Walker, who to this day is still arguably, I say, the best guy I've ever played with. State champs was covering our game against Renaissance, your old school. And Renaissance was, the champs coming off their championship year, and they would have eventually went on to win that year as well. But they had a guy by the name of Chris Godley, a pitcher, who literally was a guy who never lost in the PSL. He went 4 years, never lost a game. So state champs comes to our game. They give me the ball. I'm pitching against these guys. I pitched a pretty good game. But the best memory was watching Jimmy just go yard on this guy who was supposed to be the greatest pitcher ever. And we're playing at WC3. And then later on that season, they created what was called the Negro League All-Star Game, which was during Negro League weekend down in Comerica. Jimmy wins the home run derby, gets to go against Craig Monroe and beats Craig Monroe in the home run derby as well at Comerica. So my best memory is not of myself, it's watching my teammate, because that was the guy I looked up to.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I like how you do it in my alma mater up in there. Got to shout us out.
Renaissance back then was they had a nice powerhouse in the early 2000s.
Okay, I can't remember. It's funny because I remember I umped with the guy that went to Renaissance, and he said he played at Michigan State too, but I forgot his name. But he told me they was like city champs. So I don't know if you played against him or not, but I can't remember his name.
It's gonna be maybe Jeff LaFavors, but it's gonna be really no. He went to Central. A person from the PSL that went to Michigan State is not going to be likely because the Big Ten didn't have too many minorities until the last 10 years.
Okay. But yeah, I really can't remember his name, but it is what it is. So do you have, I know you probably do, but do you have any plans to like put something in place to increase the exposure in the city or create anything to help, people that look like us gravitate to the sport?
So over the past 5 years, I've always done donations. I don't really do any of the social media stuff because that's not the purpose of the donations. The purpose is to give back. So I'm not feeling like my donations are making much of a difference. So it's just me donating money. I'm a big firm believer in, me and Norm Taylor talk about it all the time. If you can't donate your money, donate your time. And you don't have time, donate some money. So I always donate the money because I don't usually have the time, but I'll get out there when I have the time. So my plan next year, instead of just donating money, is to make the time. I want to do like a big free showcase for the inner city. And I'm just going to reach out to each school in the inner city, say, hey, send me your college prospects. I don't want your whole team because your whole team's not a college prospect. Let's just be real. But send me your college prospect. We do a free showcase for those guys. Let's help guys who can't afford to come to showcases get that type of exposure. And then I'm also working on a youth camp, completely free youth camp, because in reality, like I said earlier, when I was coming up, you had millions of leagues. You don't have those anymore. So how do we get the fundamentals taught to these players and help them have the interest in baseball before it's too late? Because as you know, you can't pick up a bat at 14 and think you're going to be successful in baseball. You can do it in basketball if you're athletic, or football if you're athletic, but baseball is not based on athleticism. It's based on skill. So you pick up a ball and try to throw it, and kids are throwing 90 at that age, you're going to quit. Yeah. So I'm going to do a youth camp, 12U and under, just to help guys just get back into the game, have some fun, order some pizza, have guys throw at a radar gun, things of that nature. Take it back to when it was fun, where everyone wasn't in it for just, hey, I'm trying to win a trophy. That doesn't matter. So have like lunch, radar guns, prizes, things of that nature, and just get it all done. And it'll be fully funded by myself, because the hardest part in this game is getting funding, and it gets frustrating when you're asking for handouts. So I just do it myself.
Yeah, the big word you said to me that stood out was fun. Like, I feel like you said, people in it for all the wrong reasons. Like, if you're not having fun while you're doing it, like, what's the point for real? Like, I think like when I was growing up, playing with the tribal team that I was playing, like, we was actually having fun, like going out to these tribal tournaments, playing against people who weren't looking like us, and we was competing and beating them. Like, but at the same time, like, we was actually having fun and we was being taught the game. So like you said at the beginning, that like there's no coaches actually like teaching the game to these kids that actually make them want to pursue the sport even more. And like you said, you picking up a bat at like 14, not even 14, even if it's 12 or 10 maybe, and you failing, they gonna want to quit, because baseball is a game of failure. You gonna fail more times than you succeed in this sport. And I feel like people that look like us, they don't want to fail, so they gravitate to us. Like you said, what's easier to them, like the basketball, the football, things like that. So yeah, I definitely just wanted to touch on that for sure.
And you got to remember, at a PSL baseball game, you're not gonna have any fans except your parents, or maybe
Right.
your girlfriend, or a couple of your boys may show up for an inning or two. Whereas you go to I went to Ford, so you go to a Redford Ford basketball game,
And it's
you
packed.
have to buy tickets before the week.
Exactly.
Football's the same way. You got to buy tickets, well in advance. And baseball, they can't give away the ticket if it were one. So, when you talk about walking throughout your school hallways, it's not really that popular to say, oh, I'm on the baseball team. So that's another thing that steers guys away, because a lot of people do sports for the wrong reasons. So, hey, you get this attention, that attention. If I'm on a football team, I'm grabbing this type of attention. I'm grabbing this type of attention on a basketball team. Whereas the baseball team is like, oh, where's the baseball field at?
Exactly. Exactly, for sure. And I also wanted you to touch on what you did. Was it 2 years ago with the PSL, the award you put in place? Can you touch on that a little bit?
So that was something that was in the works for years. So essentially what you're referring to is I sponsored the Mr. PSL and Miss PSL award for the top athlete in both respective sports, so softball and baseball. So that was in the works for years, honestly. I started working on that in 2015, but I can never get the approval, that's neither here nor there, but the PSL would not approve the award. So I had to go through a lot of hoops, but eventually Alvin Ward, who was the head of the PSL at the time, he approved it all, said, Aaron, hey, you want to make it happen? Let's make it happen. It was his last year. So it was like his farewell gift. But I put together I didn't pick the winner. I didn't care who won. My whole thing behind it was, when I was coming up, I remember going in 2003, Calvin Wooten won Mr. Basketball in the PSL, Mr. PSL, which was the best basketball player. He got a trophy that was like as tall as him. Dude was like 6 foot. In football, you get a Mr. PSL. They get a big banquet, things of that nature. And I always ask people, I say, you say y'all want baseball in the city, but you're literally showing you don't care about baseball in the city. Everybody else gets an award: track, basketball, football, you name it. They all had an award. So I said, can we get an award for baseball? I'll pay for it. So Alvin, Mr. Word, approved it. We finally got that going. Unfortunately, it was a 1-year deal. The next year was COVID, and hopefully we can keep it rolling. But the school was awarded a trophy for the player to take home. And then there's also a huge trophy that's supposed to go around from school to school for the winner each year. So it stays at Renaissance the year Kevin wins it. And then the next year, if I win it, it goes to Henry Ford. But the actual recipient of the trophy has their own trophy as well. But I did it for both baseball and softball, because while we're discussing baseball, softball is neglected way more than baseball is as well. So that's a whole nother topic in itself. But those are two sports that are completely neglected. So I'm not going to sponsor an award and say, forget the girls. So, and it was actually pretty fortunate, because Andrew Hill, who's the known umpire around the city, his daughter won the award. So it was nice to have that done. She went down to FAMU, I believe.
Okay. That's good, man. Good.
Okay, nice. Winding down, Aaron, this segment is called our quick hitters, where I ask you a question and you just say the first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready? All right, let's get it. All right, number one, who are your top 5 black players in the MLB right now, in no particular order?
So that's tough because there's not a lot of black baseball players in MLB. So I'm gonna give you my favorite one, which is Tim Anderson. I like Aaron Judge. I like John Carlos Stanton, but I'll just stick with Tim Anderson because it's not too many who are my favorites. So I'm gonna just go with Tim.
Okay, yeah. Tim's good. I like the swagger that he brings to the game. It kind of sucks that he's under Tony La Russa, the party pooper, but it's really cool that the swag that Tim brings.
Tim is what you need in the game of baseball because he's having fun. He's unapologetically having fun, and that's the stuff we came up doing. I mean, in the PSL, you knew you were going to certain hostile environments. Guys going to talk crap, and you just don't have to ball. And if you don't ball, you're going to hear about it. So I like that. I came up in that type of environment. I played in many different environments, but that's fun. You know, it wasn't malicious. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm. All right. Number 2, who is the best player that you played against in high school?
Well, I think he already. Well,
no, he was my teammate.
Okay, yeah.
Best player in high school. Now, are we talking about in Detroit or are we talking about period?
Let's go with Detroit.
If we're talking Detroit, the best, I'm going to go with 2 guys. So one was a teammate of mine in the summer, Tony Hines, went to Mumford, went over to Wayne State, broke records, went over to Macomb Community College, broke records. It's ridiculous that he was not recruited, but he showed how good he was. And he's actually a guy you guys should get on here because he had a medical disorder and just he was unable to play baseball anymore. It changed the way his body looked, everything. But when you're talking about the best hitter I've seen, we went down to Tennessee for a tournament. Something was wrong with his arm. Dude hit a home run with one arm. So this is no joke. So Tony Hines from Mumford, he graduated in 2004. And then also the other player I would say would be Leonard Ford, also an 04 graduate from 05 graduate over at Southwestern. Big kid, about 225 pounds back then, through 90. He played for Leon McKissick, which was your coach, over at Southwestern. They won the city title that year, but he hit bombs, threw about 90, ended up signing with Southern. So those 2 would be my guys, toughest opponents I faced because Tony took me deep a couple times with no fences. So just think about how far he hit.
All right, Tony Hines, for sure. All right, last one. Your favorite to win the World Series this year?
I'm going with the Padres. They got the brown and gold. So I've been rocking brown and gold for a long time now. So I'm going to roll with the Padres. Plus, I like Machado. I like Tatis. They got a lot going on over there. Cronenworth from Michigan. So I'm going to roll with the Padres.
Okay, now who you got them facing off against?
I would like to say the Yankees.
Okay. That'd be a nice
matchup. Yankees struggling right now.
Yeah, the Yankees are terrible right now. But the second half of the season's getting started. They are the Yankees. So, I mean, it's hard to count them out. But I would like to say the Yankees. But in reality, I would go with the Astros if I had to pick.
Okay, Astros. Okay.
Well, Aaron, man, we definitely appreciate the time, having this conversation with us. You have a lot of experience in the game. So yeah, we definitely appreciate you just chopping it up with us, keeping it real, man.
Oh yeah, no problem. Appreciate y'all having me.
All right.
No doubt. Thanks for being
here. Yeah. So, John, did you happen to catch the All-Star game?
No, I actually didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. It came on, was that Thursday evening? I don't even remember what I was doing, but I didn't watch it.
So yeah, I missed it too. But one thing I did like was the number of black players who were either selected to the game or who actually played in the game. Because we already know that there's not too many brothers playing the game as is. So just to see these players that look like us playing at a high level and getting that recognition, man, was definitely a good thing to see. So let's run down these players, to see who all was selected to the game or either was added as a replacement and played in the game. So we got first First off, we got Marcus Simeon from Toronto Blue Jays, infielder. Then we got Aaron Judge, outfielder from the New York Yankees.
6'8" outfielder.
Man, this boy is a monster.
Climbing walls. Yeah.
Got my guy Tim Anderson out there in Chi-Town. He was actually added as a replacement, playing for the White Sox. Then Michael Brantley, he's been like going off at the plate for the Houston Astros.
Yeah, he touches everything.
Yeah, he definitely been balling. He actually opted out, so he didn't participate in the All-Star game. And you got Cedric Mullins up there in Baltimore Orioles outfielder. He's been making a name for himself since the beginning of the season. So he's definitely been tearing it up. Then Mookie Betts, pretty much everybody know about Mookie.
Oh yeah,
over there in LA with the Dodgers. He also opted out. And then the last one was Taijuan Walker. He was added as a replacement for the pitcher for the New York Mets. So Walker was actually the only pitcher, like the black pitcher selected to the game. So like, and he was actually signed as a free agent in the offseason by the Mets. So they definitely made a good signing with Walker because he's been balling too. So yeah, it's just good, to see all those players. So is there a player that sticks out to you, from that list, or somebody that's been catching your eye either this season or previous seasons?
Yeah, I would have to say Tim Anderson. I think I first saw him, I want to say like 2 years ago. I saw him with the White Sox. They weren't winning, but to me, he was sticking out like a diamond in the rough. I just saw like everything that he brings to the game, like that swagger, like that attention, that braggadociousness, even if that's a word or not. But like I was just able to look at Tim. I was like, man, like this is really what baseball needs. Like that flashiness, and you're starting to see it with other players like Fernando Tatis. They got that chain that they got if you hit a home run or something like that. It's just like little stuff like that. I think Tim brings to the game, but on top of that, like he got the numbers to back it up too. Like he's having another pretty good season, and I think Chicago got a bright future with Tim Anderson there and a few other pieces that they have.
Oh yeah, I definitely gotta agree with you, Tim Anderson. Definitely been a player I've been following recently. Like you said, yeah, that swag he just brings. He out there having fun too, man. That's like the biggest thing, most important thing, is just having fun. Don't matter how old you are, young, old, a little league player, MLB player. If you having fun, man, you can't beat that. And that's something we see with Anderson, like day in and day out. Like he'll have fun every time he steps on that field, and he's gonna give it. He's gonna give it his all too when he steps out there too. So I also have to agree with Anderson. But yeah, I mean all the players we mentioned who were selected have definitely been doing their thing this year, and we just want to hope that they can continue to keep that success up throughout the rest of the season, because this is what we need. We need to see these players having a success. Especially the younger generation. So definitely a good thing to see.
Yeah, no doubt. I just wish MLB knew how to market their stars better. but yeah, that's another story. That's another story for another day. But all right, that's gonna be a wrap for this episode of Keeping It Real. Y'all can catch us on YouTube and Spotify. Type in Be-Moor Radio or Keeping It Real, and our stuff should pop up. We'll catch you in the next episode.